Welcome to I Quit My Job. In this episode, we have an amazing episode today. You know, it's all about art, it's all about perspective. And we also have Mark Stoddard, an amazing artist, been in the city for a while. And again, this is I Quit My Job, where ordinary stories become extraordinary inspiration. I'm Slowly Plus One, and I'm going to introduce you to Mark. Mark, I really appreciate you coming on, bro. This is a
Appreciate it.
pleasure. It's been a long time.
No. When I've been watching the videos, I said, "When's my turn?"
Oh, nice.
Now I can be slowly plus two.
Nice. So why don't you just let us know who you are and what you're currently doing right now?
Okay. My name slowly introduce me again. My name is Mark Stoddard. I consider myself more of an artist, but a storyteller, but it's more like a visual communicator. I think like with saying you're an artist, you get a little bit boxed in. Like, what kind of art do you do, right? So, visual communicator, I think, is a great title to actually kind of dictate my narrative. And I've been drawn from I don't know what age, and still living off of that. Still able to create stories through my visual beings of creating through these hands. These hands are the ones that actually allow me to live my life, live my full purpose. It's kind of interesting that when you kind of reflect on your life and your journey, that art was always a part of me because it's a part of my last name. You spell it STO, two D's, ART.
ART,
right?
amazing.
And my name is Mark, so I'm leaving my mark as an artist.
Why don't you jump into it and just kind of explain how your illustrious career started, or did you have to make any sudden movements?
Sudden movements. Life is all about those pivots, right?
Yeah.
I quit my job many of times, but just to give some context to the YMCA, it's definitely us growing up as in our late 20s. That was kind of guess our community space for a lot of us to hang out and to network. And for myself, was just a place. If you can play ball, you sign your name up on the wall. Right?
Yeah,
on
that's
Friday.
right. That's
you
right.
Sign your
That's
name.
right.
You
That's
pick your
right.
team. If your team is good, you stay on for a long period of time. And what's great with that you build this camaraderie of men together, and you build these relationships that even from that day onwards, you still have those relationships, right? And so a lot of the guys knew that I was an artist. Like, as much as I love the game of basketball, that there's also the hustle of creating my storytelling through clothing.
Right.
Like what I'm wearing now is a
Right.
piece of me. So a lot of the brothers supported me. I love when you keep saying young, but man, we've been there.
We young, bro.
Yeah, don't,
You know,
black don't crack. You know,
we living on the earth. You know how old the earth is?
you know what I'm saying? You know, facts.
We young to that.
Facts. But 89.
89.
Yeah.
Man, you got some Benjamin Button juice on you, brother.
That time was when I realized that kind of, I guess, finding your niche in a way of knowing what you're good at. And I knew that I just love to create art and then putting them onto shirts. And it's definitely accessible for people to wear. And the aha moment for me, the hustle, was going to Caravana at that time in university when there wasn't no fences. It was just the community as a whole walking down and celebrating that moment.
Right.
And crew of my men's them, big up to Scarborough, but we call ourselves a brotherhood. So I think it was like at least 7 or 8 of us. My first design was the Black Panther. At that time, people now know about Wakanda, but I used to collect comic books.
Oh,
So I knew about T'Challa from day one.
Oh, sin.
And so
Classics.
I had the design of him with the continent of Africa, with the red, black, and green, the Marcus Garvey kind of look. And then we wore those at Caravana on University. And man, the amount of people who saw us and reacted to us, like, yo, where you get those shirts? Like this. I just knew that I had something special to do, right? Or give to the world.
Right.
That's my first introduction of my hustle of becoming an entrepreneur. That was technically one of my first jobs, was textile printing.
Because, that's an early time. In 89 all the way up to now, how did you build and continue building?
I'll give you a crossroad of that scenario is that I'm in school, loving basketball for Sheridan, playing for the team, winning nationals, doing everything big for my first year.
So you guys won national?
Oh, yeah, bro. Like my name is up on that wall there. But playing for them, playing well, but then what was happening, my school marks were dropping. And so I'm like, how far can I go with this basketball stuff, man? Not as far as what I want, because I'm not going to go in the league. I'm not going to play professional. So I had to quit. my marks were dropping. So I had to make a choice. I had to decide.
Marks.
There you go. And so I quit basketball, stuck into my schooling, got my degree, graduated, and then I got my first job as textile and printing. Worked there for a while. So I got a grasp of understanding what textile and printing could be, and being in the back, understanding separating of screens and film artwork and all that kind of stuff. So I got a better understanding that I'm learning all this, and I can learn to apply it for myself.
So have you had that challenge in terms of the art, or in terms of now you're working for this silk press or print press?
Yeah.
How did you evolve with that?
It was nice because the opportunities to using their machinery to print the stuff that I wanted to print after work, there's still that fire within myself that I'm not fulfilling my purpose.
Okay.
Not really fulfilling it, but that's kind of weathering the storm. So this is my first quitting my job. I was done. It was a time in the summer I said, I'm just done. And I went, one thing a lot of people know, I'm from the UK. So I decided, no, I'm getting out of Canada. And I said, let me just go to England. So I spent at least a year.
Oh, nice.
Just to get out of the world, to see the world for what it is and go back home. And funny enough, I got an opportunity to play professional basketball over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't.
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
it's like, but even playing that, I wasn't fulfilled. Maybe because if I was younger at that stage in life, maybe it would have been something different. I did that for a minute, came back home, and then couldn't find work. And my dad, because he worked for Cadbury at that time, he always said, "You always can come back to Cadbury, right?" But let me digress. Before that, that was the industry was changing. The internet was coming in. And so I applied for this kind of this grant for web development, and I applied, did I think it was a 6-month course, and then they had placements, and then one of the placements was this one company, and then one of my other good friends who was in the course, he got into working for Much Music.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like, yo, I want Much Music as well, and so I quit. I didn't quit the job. I didn't apply for the other position. My friend said, there's a position for a web designer at Much Music, and then I applied for that, and I got in.
Oh, nice. You were working for Much.
I was working for
Much.
Much.
Nice.
So, but what was great with that, the relationships I had at working on Much, because Master T was there at that time, Tony Young. So that built a nice relationship for me to be there for a good amount, I think 4 years.
Oh, wow.
4 to 5 years. And then another position opened up at a company called Onyx on Don Mills.
Onyx.
Not the grab group, but it's a company. But and so I quit Much Music and went to work for Onyx because now they're paying more money. And at that time, I was burning the candle at both ends, making good money from this other company, but still doing my freelance stuff because I was a graphic designer, and still doing my clothing. And I was doing stuff for like BMG, Sony, Universal, doing all the graphic design stuff for them. So it was amazing how I was able to these transferable skills that I picked up along the way in my journey. I was able to apply to what I was doing as my hustle, and then working as a 9-to-5. But I was almost getting burnt out at the same time. And then fast forward again a little bit more after that, downsizing. As much as you make that good amount of money, they chop you. Anyone's making good money, they get rid of you quickly.
Oh yeah.
And so I lost that job. Then my dad always says, you can always come back to Cadbury.
Right. Cadbury's always waiting for you.
Always waiting for me, brother. It was just a means to an end. So I just did it. But what was interesting with this time going back to Cadbury was that a position opened up in the logistics area, which was the Department of Printing and Designing and Graphic Design. And so that logistical department, because a woman, she's going on mat leave, and so they needed a graphic designer. Funny enough, I got the position. And again, the relationship with my dad, I got in, worked there. This is when the real shift happened. So when I was home, I got the Sunday News, and you know who this person is, Sean Rose, Blue.
Right.
When he passed,
wow,
that rocked my world. Because again, that's one of our homies from the YMCA, right? Like everybody knew him. The community knew him. He was definitely a community guy, right? He was involved with Malvern Community Center. He was just putting his time in, brother. Like he was, when you high regards. Like when you see his name or you talk about him, it's
Right, right.
he's with the ancestors now, but he was one of those guys. So when he passed, it shocked the whole community. It really did. And to go to his funeral with another good friend of mine, Nigel Duncan,
Right.
you just saw everybody from good to bad, from whatever that was. It's
Good to bad.
it's the central part that everybody was there to give homage, give respect to
Right.
this guy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that was the last time I actually worked for a company.
Oh, wow.
I said, you know what? Losing him and seeing the reaction, how the community responded to the loss of somebody like him, and the people there, I said to myself, if I was going to transition, what's going to be my impact?
Right.
What's going to be the thing that I
Nice.
can do in a way that I can really preserve my legacy, right? There's the two things in life that's guaranteed: the day that you're born,
Right.
and the day that you die. It's that dash in between. What's going to be that mark, that imprint that you can make people to remember you by?
Right.
And like I said, what Blue did for us as a community, I said, I got to do the same thing. And so I said, done. I said, I'm done. This is the real quit. I quit my job. I'm done. I'm going to do for me. The affirmation was my father, because again, old school Western man. I'm home. He's like, yo, you need to find a job. I'm like, nah, this is my job. Like, whatever it is I'm going to go through, I'm going to go through this now. And then the consistency in me doing it and he's realizing that I'm not wavering.
Right.
He let me be.
Oh, nice.
He just
nice.
let me be. And just allowed me to-
Support system's key, brother.
Yeah, but he needed to see if I was willing to do
Right.
this time. And
Right.
I that's for him to show me his respect. Say, okay, I'm going to let you see how you can do this now. Because again, Western fathers you have to provide, right? You want to know, can my son really sustain himself in this world, right? And you realize that if this is the thing that you want to do,
So without that support system on your dad, let's say your dad was like, yo, you got to get out of this house. That would have changed some kind of perspective of,
most definitely.
you know, and so how do you look at that? And then if somebody else is saying they have that situation where their parents are on them saying, yo, you're going to be a starving artist.
You just said earlier, it's like you really need to have that support factor. If your parents or even your day ones, right? That you need those people to ground you. And again, that dream or that idea, that seed that you plant, like you plant it for you.
Right.
And allow that to manifest. Manifestation is a beautiful thing, brother. Like you really gotta believe in what your
Yes.
gifts are and
Yes.
really allow it to grow within. And then when then that it will break through, and then your fruits of your labor will grow, man.
Right.
I'm a testament of that. Like I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be in the position that I am. Statistically, people will see me as right.
Right.
But I was that kid. Portfolio in one arm and a basketball in the other.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, brother.
Like weathering that, brother. Some people who know me from they know that. And
I remember that bag, and then you're coming into the gym where we're all balling. You know what I'm saying?
So I take that energy that is, and I'm using this to, again, those streams of the learning skills, right? And those tangible skills that I picked up along the way, and I'm just applying and reapplying it.
Right.
Because I see a lot of brothers along the way don't know how to use that energy that they have and don't know how to circumvent that energy to something else.
Right.
I just knew that basketball is not the only thing I have. Right?
How did you kind of like start moving into like with the major organizations, MLSC and all of that? Like the things that I see on social media and the things that you promote, and then even like, how did you maneuver those times?
Never really maneuvered in a way. Like I always stay fast to who
So
I
you're
was.
always culture, behind
Always.
everything.
Everybody
with
who
that.
knows me from day one, I'm that dude. I'm that
Okay.
that black. Like that pro black. Like, I always, it's a part of my foundation. It's my upbringing.
Right.
That's always the connection to who I was. 89 high school, that shifted my trajectory, where I was and what I wanted to do. And I never wavered from that. I never compromised
Nice.
who I was. And through my work, it always says that. And so knowing that path, it's like your GPS. It just maneuvers through life, and along that journey, you just connect with other people along the way that can build you up. Interesting when you said that, and it comes full circle. Is that now at Sheridan, teaching as a professor from Sheridan, I have my first sketchbook, and my sketchbook, because my art teacher said you always got to make time, like going to the gym and practicing. You have to keep drawing and sketching and drawing.
Right.
And so, I was at an event at UFT, and Kwame Ture, a.k.a. Stokely Carmichael, one of the strongest revolutionary brothers out there, I got to meet him for the first time. He's with the ancestors now. And I did a drawing of him live when he was speaking. And,
wow.
and then I asked him to sign my book for me. And even now, when I look at the book, it's just goosebumps as I'm talking about it. He even wrote it and goes, everything for the people, even art. And I'm like, wow, that's like, didn't know what was written, but now taking it back, yo, my power, my purpose is through my artistry. And I have to stay to that course of giving my storytelling through art.
Right.
And he's giving me that kind of gets that cosign from that, right?
Nice, nice.
And I always felt like in life that whatever you accomplish in life, you got to pay it forward and giving back. My knowledge of who I was and finding ways of telling my story through iconic people like my relationship with Dr. John Carlos.
Yeah. Explain some of those relationships,
Like,
man. Explain some of those. Like, that's really big right there. Like, as I was mentioning earlier with you, seeing the fist, the movement.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and in Toronto, it's still a little bit like, that's still new. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was still new, but you were still on this.
On that level.
On that level.
Like, I knew about him from when I was in high school. I knew about that demonstration and what it stood for. And even now, it's like you said, when that whole shift happened with George Floyd,
Right.
that story became even more alive of social injustice. And to know that I'm bridging that and allowing myself to be a vessel for that and being a service to him as a visual communicator, as my artistry, I'm able to brand him and be able to bring his story to light a little bit more, and even to a younger level of people.
Right.
And bring him to Toronto and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of surreal, but again, it's about planting that idea and manifestation is a key. Like, why me? Why is it that I'm the person who's able to bring him or have that relationship with him for like 10 years in,
Right.
and building his story, right? So I'm just thankful, man.
So what do you think it is that they see in you outside of your art? Because you're still a person. So the art is good, but you're still a person. So a man like John Carlos, how would a person like that see the vision in you? Like, what is it that you feel you're giving off for a person so iconic to see the vision in you, for them to come?
Slowly, that's a good question, man. As I reflect, I don't know. I just feel that I'm just a good dude, bro. I'm just one of those day ones who, like, if I see something in you or they see something in me that, like, I'm a humble dude. I don't ask for much. I'm just, like, again, just trying to live my purpose and just trying to do the right thing.
Right,
And
right.
maybe that exudes through me. But
It shows in the art, and it shows, like you said, you have this lived experience of the culture.
right.
And you walk the culture, you
I
wear
live
the
it,
culture,
I wear it.
you live it, you wear it.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? And you come up with the acronyms for it. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
man.
saying? So you've worked with all these organizations in the city, major organizations, major art show, Randall. So what's next for you, bro? Like, what's next for you?
Getting back into the arts, like, it's interesting that I'm adapting to clothing, mentorship, graphic design, building the brand. But the whole essence of who my being is to create art. Like,
Great art.
it's getting my hands dirty, like getting back onto doing the canvas stuff. Like,
Right.
now we're in the digital world that everything's all Procreate and Illustrator and all that kind of stuff, man, which has been a few full years for me just learning and doing what I do. Just recently, I was commissioned to one of the 27 artists. There was a call out last year for the Scotiabank Arena, and I submitted my work. And because it's sports, it's
Right.
always be the
Right, of
my
course, of
foundation
course,
of,
of course.
and so I submitted my stuff. They liked it, and then they commissioned me to create 6 pieces. So I got the opportunity to do 6. And so
Of course, 6 is that number.
yeah, in the 6. And but
No.
and going not small pieces, these are big pieces.
Right.
So that summer was a taxing summer, but it was worthwhile because I got my hands dirty again. I got involved in creating
Right,
and
right.
producing
And where are those pieces now?
at Scotiabank Arena on the 2th level. I physically can't be there, but my legacy of my art is there
Right.
permanently. Right.
Right.
So
So with that legacy, I also noticed that you're also on this like platform to say, hey, I need to have my walk of fame. So for you to have that kind of confidence, where does that come from? To say, hey, like, you know, I need to get my number retired. Like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? Like, retire my number. Like, how do you champion for yourself like that?
I did my work, man. I edged I made an imprint. I left my mark, and so the community again stepped up, and as much as I requested it, everybody's been supportive and been submitting the letters in.
Right.
And so having that star would be nice. I think it's important.
Mm-hmm.
But globally, I've done my symbolism of imprints of brands and stuff. I've touched on. There's so many things I've created a lot of people don't even know.
Okay.
And so like I said, like having your name somewhere, like going to school, like when I teach these young people coming in, I said I'm just like you. I was a 19-year-old kid just trying to find my way, and I bring them into the gym. And I talk about legacy, and I say, look up there, and you see in the rafters. And I say, look, there's my name.
Right.
As a kid trying to find his way, and like
That's pretty sick.
yeah,
That's pretty sick.
So
I know you mentioned your aha moment. You know, like so from that aha moment, can you provide some gems or something that somebody could take away from?
one thing I can say, enjoy the failures. I think a lot of us dwell on it and quit on that, right? I'm thinking when you fall, the goal is to get back up,
Right.
and learn from those failures, right? And
Right.
figure out how to maneuver the next step in your life. Because I went through enough no's,
Right.
but you gotta, those failures of those no's will get to that one. You just need that one yes.
That one yes would
You know,
change
it
everything.
changed
Everything
for you.
Yes.
Right? The one thing, finding allies, finding people who are not really in your circle, but they become your day twos
Right.
in life.
Okay.
And still up to this day, I still find these angels who come and support me in moments that I think like, how the hell I'm going to get through these projects.
Right.
But they-
Right. Send some of them angels my way, brother.
You have them because, bro, I've seen what you've done and where your journey has, as at one point in your life and to where you are now. I'm proud of you.
Right,
I told you from before this thing started. Like there's people who always watch us and see what we're doing. Right? They don't say nothing, but they on the side way they say something.
Right.
I'm just telling you now. Like I'm giving you your flowers. I see
All right,
you.
respect, bro.
See you.
Respect.
I see the work you've done. You've been consistent, and that's the one thing I tell the next students or anybody. Gotta be consistent with them, and if you want this, you got to be consistent.
Right. And so, as you know, we're going to be wrapping up. This is I Quit My Job, where ordinary stories become extraordinary inspiration. And Mark, it's been great having you here, man. Even though we're doing it in front of a camera, I really appreciate you coming out, man. And this is I Quit My Job podcast. I'm Slowly Plus One. Thank you guys for checking in, and we couldn't do this without you. And I appreciate you coming on here, Mark. Pleasure, bro. Thank you so much, man.
Always. No, thank you for inviting me, man.